name is Earl Kitchings. This gentleman is George Casey. We have an organization called Empowered Squared, and the purpose of our organization is to help enrich your lives and give you some options as to how you can become better individuals and how you can make a better way for yourself. So before we get started, I got two things to ask you guys to do. And I'm very passionate about this. Number one, I'm going to respect you. I need you to respect Mr. Casey and I. So we don't need a whole lot of chatter going on because what we have to give you is very impactful and it's very, very helpful. How you doing, sir? All right. Some of you guys, y'all heard us before. This time what we're going to do is we're going to compact our program over the next 4 weeks. So when we come in before, we kind of stayed on one thing. This time we're going to go through each part of the acronym GOAT. Does anybody remember what GOAT stands for?
GOAT.
Speak up. GOAT. And what does GOAT mean?
GOAT. We talk about that GOAT.
Okay. But if you were Muhammad Ali, what would GOAT stand for? How many of y'all know Muhammad Ali? Thank you, sir. Greatest of all time.
Oh man, I could have thought of that.
Greatest of all time. That is our precept and concept for what we're teaching because there's greatness in each one of you. But in order to reach your greatness, you got to understand your goals, your outcomes, your accountability, and your thoughts. Goals, outcomes, accountability, and thoughts. So the first part of that starts with tonight when we talk about goals. Talk about goals. So I'm going to ask a general question right away. What is a goal? Can anybody share with me what a goal is? Yes, sir.
Is the end point to a plan you have for the future, the outcome altogether, something you want to do to improve your life.
Okay, very good. Plan for an outcome. Very good. Yes, sir.
A dream with a deadline.
A dream with a deadline. Excellent. Anyone else? Anyone else?
Something you achieve for?
Say it again.
Something you achieve for?
Something you achieve for. Very good. Each one of you should have at least one goal that you want to achieve while you're here at Job Corps. At least one. Because if you don't have a goal, that means it goes back to what this gentleman said, you don't have a plan. If you plan, if you plan to fail, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. You gotta have a goal. Our goal is to impart knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge and wisdom. Which one comes first?
Knowledge. Wisdom
Knowledge.
comes with age and time.
Knowledge comes first and wisdom comes with what?
Time.
And what else? Experience and what else?
Knowledge.
No. No, he said it. I'm just trying to get him to say it because you said you started with age. Exactly, with age. You can't get some wisdom unless you have some age. You can get experience and you can get knowledge, but wisdom comes with time. Now the great comedian Richard Pryor, you ever heard of Richard Pryor?
Oh yeah.
The great comedian Richard Pryor said you don't get to be old, or you don't get to have some wisdom being no fool. You don't get to be old being no fool. Because it's a lot of dead young fools. Think about that. There's a lot of guys who are not with us now because they did something foolish. Some of you have been blessed to have a second chance, or a third chance, or a fourth chance. After a while, your chances kind of run out. So we're talking about goals. We're talking about goals. So one of the first things you got to do when you got goals, you got to have a burning desire for something. What's your burning desire, young man? What do you have a burning desire to do? So that you can do what? You said a career, so I don't know what career path you're talking about. In HVAC, okay? You want to complete this program so you can be certified so you can go in HVAC, which will give you a career. Exactly. That's your goal. All right. Do you have a burning desire for that? Or it's just something you want to do? I mean, do you sleep, eat, and breathe HVAC? Okay. Okay. I'm just asking because I need to know, because if I got a passion for something, if I got a burn for something, or if I got a hard on for something, man, that's all I think about. Yeah, I know. I said it.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that kind of feeling inside of you, it's not a passion. It's really not. It's a fleeting thought. It's something that you're just thinking about. Now, over time, some of us stay with one thing. Some of us kind of bounce around because we're not really sure. And for me, I know maybe looking at me it wouldn't seem like it, but I've only worked one job no more than 7 years. I've had one job that I've worked for 7 years. That's the longest amount of time that I've been on somebody else's payroll. But I've been on my own payroll since 1980. And what I mean by that is, my goal was to be my own business person. I wanted to be my own business person. So that was my goal. The next thing is, after you have a burning desire for something, you got to know what you're willing to sacrifice in order to get there. What are you willing to give up, sir, to make your goal come true? What are you willing to give up? What will you sacrifice? Okay, but just like he said a career, you got to quantify what a lot is. So you can't just say a lot.
I gave my girlfriend, my family.
Okay.
A lot of stuff.
So you,
A lot of stuff, jobs. Since I've been here, I've had like 3 job opportunities with landscaping, veterinarian clinic, and a few other ones, but I'm gonna go to advanced training after this to make 24, 28 instead of 10 to 15 because that's just not covered.
so you start off by saying one of the things you had to sacrifice was your family.
Social life.
Well, social life, okay.
And like,
Because you got to give something up in order to, to get there. So, how many of you are willing to make a sacrifice to reach the goals you want to make? You are, sir?
Yeah.
What are you willing to do?
I do just about anything to make my goals happen.
Okay. All right. No matter how long it takes?
Yeah.
No matter how long it takes now?
Yeah.
Because it can take a long time sometimes. Okay. Yes, sir. What were you willing to sacrifice?
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. Yes, sir.
Sacrifice the street, leave it alone for good.
For good. Permanently. It's over. No more streets. You sure? Why do you want to do that?
Not even with that. I got a child, a son.
Uh-huh. So
I don't want him looking up to me like, oh, my dad doing this, I'm gonna do this.
your child has brought you into reality. Reality of life. And you want him to look up to you and see more than just somebody out on the streets with his boy. Because that ain't going nowhere. Right? Because eventually, he gonna start looking up to one of your boys more than he look up to you. And he gonna disrespect you, and then where are you with your relationship to him? Is that your only child?
Yeah.
It is? Okay, how old is he now?
Just took 4 months.
Just turned 4 months. All right. Love him tomorrow like you love him today. That's a hard thing for black men to do, or any men to do, to love that son. You love him now. When he gets a little older, you know how we get. You know how we get. Dad can't tell me nothing. I know everything. Dad ain't never done none of this. He don't know what he's talking about. I ain't challenged my dad like that because I was scared of him. My dad would take me out. I ain't trying to go out like that. See, I love my perks and benefits. When I was growing up, a perk and benefit was once I learned how to get my driver's license, I need the keys to the car. Who understand what that is? You understand what that is, sir? Understand what that is, having the keys to the car? No?
Anytime.
Hey, as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do, you're going to get the keys to the car. As long as you're doing what's right, you're going to get the keys. As long as you're doing everything you're supposed to do, you're going to get more opportunity, perks, and benefits to do some more things. Right or wrong. Now, if you haven't had that, speak up. Think about it. Because when you start messing up, you can't borrow the keys to the car. No, you can't go out. No, you can't do a lot of things. So, You gotta make a sacrifice. The next thing is, how many of y'all like to write things down? No, come on now, don't just kind of give me a kind of
It
half-hearted,
depends
well,
on what it is.
I like to, but I don't. Depending on what it is? Okay. What's the most important thing you've written down in the last 2 weeks?
My work.
Your work. Your work what? Okay, your work what? Anybody else want to take a shot at it? FAMU.
Notes.
Did you go to FAMU, son? You got people who went to FAMU? Do you know anything about Florida University? No? You don't know what the A&M stands for? I have no idea. That's cool. That's my alma mater, that's my master. Okay, so, anybody else want to tell me what they've written down that was of importance in the last 2 weeks that's going to make a difference in their life? Yes, sir.
I don't really write it down, but I make sure that I put it down that I need to go to my meeting on time.
On time, being prompt.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So early.
I wrote down like 3 goals like a month ago, but I put it on my pillow every night and I like look at it
Okay.
so that I know what I'm gonna do.
How many of those goals have you achieved so far? One? All right. That's better than none. 2? That's better than none. See, if you keep writing down and looking over them every night and doing them, you're going to get there. Then you'll be setting, you go from 3 to 5, 5 to 10. Now all of a sudden, you're going to progress. Anybody else want to talk about what they write down? Yes, sir. I'm sorry?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
certification.
Certification, David.
Research notes.
Okay. You have to write your goals down. 1, 2, 3. Start from the most important thing down to the least important thing. The most important to the least important. Write them down. Look at them every day and tell yourself, I'm going to achieve these things. Now, a lot of you don't write them down because you play on that phone all the time. See, that phone is such a big distraction that you miss some things that people are telling you because you're on the phone. And then when that's gone, later on you're like, man, what did that guy say? Some of this stuff you need to write down. If you can't retain it to memory, you need to write it down. The next thing is, after you take the writing down part, you need to take action. Write it down, then take an action too. Don't just write it down and let it sit there. If it's an action item you need to do to reach your goals, you need to do that. If it means reading, if it means going and spending extra time, I don't know, in the classroom, after class, whatever. You say you want to go into HVAC, right? Do you want to be the best HVAC guy there is, or you just want to be an okay HVAC guy? You want to try to be the best, you're going to be the best. Thank you. Okay, because that try word won't get you there. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so you write down your goals and then you put some actions to them. Don't just write them down and say, okay, I wrote them down. Now what? It means nothing if you don't write them down. If you don't take an action, if you don't put an action to them, it won't happen. The next thing is you need to say it to yourself over and over again, and then you need to process and evaluate where you are from week to week. Have I made any progress? I've had these goals. I said these are things I'm going to do. Have I made progress? Those are the things you need to work on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yo, you pull yourself from right. I keep hearing
Second, you what?
this phone vibrating.
No problem. All right, so the next thing is, why do we set goals? Why do you set a goal? Why do you set a goal? Why do you want to be in this program? Why do you want to be certified as HVAC? Why do you want to be certified as a, what do y'all call it, logistics?
Material handling.
Material handling. Why do you want to do that? Why do you set that goal? Why do you, yes, sir?
Because if you aim for nowhere, that's where you're going.
Okay. If you aim for nowhere, that's where you're going. Nowhere is nowhere. Yes, sir.
I want to get out of here and have like an apartment, have a car, and just have freedom. You can do anything with freedom. Like, I don't like relying on people. I like doing it by myself. So at the end of the day, I don't have to sit there and be like, well, I kind of owe somebody something, or it's freedom,
Okay.
self-sufficiency.
Independence. Independence. something like freedom and independence.
Put your goals down on paper so you have an idea of what you're going for. Because you don't have to turn company goals. You know what I mean? In my experience, I
A
never.
lot of you guys just, you kind of trying to figure this stuff out and try to figure out where you're trying to go. But you need to start writing some of this down. I mean, it's gonna catch up with, yes, sir?
I think when you tell them write it down, it's more than just writing it down, because a lot of people, they'll start writing it down and they get sidetracked and then they may get away from those goals. It's what Ms. Manning says is execution. It's one thing to write your goals down, but if you're not working towards getting those goals, why are you writing them down?
Because somebody told me to write it down?
Exactly. You have to write it
Because
down.
I think if I do that, then I've satisfied somebody else's requirements, not my own. So the execution comes back to the action part. Write it down, take some action. Execute your goals. Do what you say you're gonna do, man. That's all. If you say you're gonna do something, then do it. It's simple. Because as adults, as young adults, or do we have any teenagers, anybody under 18 in here, raise your hand. Okay. Anybody else up to 2, 3? All right. So once you get to 18, you become a what? Legal adult. A young adult, but a legal adult. Okay. So, in essence, you're on your own pretty much at 18, according to the law. So you doing things and not getting it done is, whatever doesn't get done is your fault. You can't blame nobody else. You can't blame the teacher. You can't blame Mr. Casey. You can't blame the choir directors. I mean, because you said, and when I was working in the college environment some years ago, it used to be funny to hear guys talking, I'm a grown-ass man. What that mean? What does that mean when you say that? I'm a grown-ass man. What does that mean? Because if you can't do things like a man's supposed to do them, what makes you so grown? Because you turned 23, 24? Because you got a child? You know what, guys? I got a child. I'm a grown-ass man. You don't tell me what to do. Somebody always going to tell you what to do. One way or the other. Like it or not. Right or wrong. Right? Because if you work for somebody, somebody going to tell you what to do, right? All right? If you're trying to get something done, somebody going to tell you how to get it done. Okay? You got to listen to what somebody's telling you. So, think about that. You set your goals on what you want to accomplish, somebody tell me what feels good to them in life every day. What makes you feel good? Yes, sir. What makes you feel good? Okay. Every day. All right. Very good. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Putting a smile on my mama's face.
Putting a smile on your mother's face? How do you do that?
I accomplish my goals I set for myself.
I see. You ever made your mother cry?
Yep.
Huh?
Yep.
How did that make you feel?
Bad.
Made you feel bad?
Yep.
Why is that?
Wrong place at the wrong time.
What's that?
I said wrong place at the wrong time.
Wrong place at the wrong time. Okay. Made you feel bad too? Don't want to make her feel that way no more, right?
Nah, I ain't trying to put no tears in my eyes no more.
No more, right? Okay. You made her that promise, is that correct?
I'm keeping my word.
You sure now?
Positive.
All right. All right, 'cause that's a hard thing to do. Especially when life comes at you or your friends come at you and want you to do something that you know could lead you down that path.
True.
So you have to ask yourself, what am I going to do? Am I going to follow them? Or am I going to keep them tears out of my mother's eyes?
Keep tears out of my mama's eyes.
Okay, no matter what your friends say to you or no matter what.
No matter what,
The
they
most
come
important
friends come
thing,
and go.
I got you. I mind that. I appreciate you having that feeling. Because that's a tough thing to do. That's a tough thing to do. Finally, see your goals, keep moving towards your goals and keep moving. You're not going to stay here. You're not going to be at this age for the rest of your life. You got to keep life moving, man. You got to. How old do y'all think I am? 56, 48,
About 54.
54, 62. I look good for 75? Yeah. Anybody else? 51?
No, you 62.
You gotta be a 54.
Gotta be in the 50s.
What makes y'all call out all these 50s and 60s numbers? Oh, so if I got gray hair, I gotta be old, like.
Every hair has gray hair.
Ah, I see.
When you got gray hair, that means you wise, man.
You might have a lot of stress.
Whoa, you think so?
Oh, that's definitely true.
You got gray hair, you
I
wise.
ain't got all these gray hairs being no fool, right?
Who you
Exactly.
tell?
Okay. Well, truth be
Once
told.
again,
Yes, sir.
you 62?
No, sir. I'm gonna tell you how old I am, because I want you to understand that the value of me being at this point in my life to be able to share this with you guys. Because some of us have lost people in our lives that have not seen this day. You are not guaranteed to see the day that I am right now. You are not guaranteed that. So I can tell you, I've seen those many days, but you can't guarantee yourself that. So in November, I will turn 60 years old.
Man, I only went a couple numbers over, man.
November 8th. Now, I have two sons, 35 and 29, and my youngest son turned 29 today. He turned 29 today. Ironically, when he was born, did he know that on 9/11 in 1985, would his birthday always be something that he'll never have to worry about forgetting? Because it's been marked in history. But I bring you that age factor simply because, like this gentleman said, I don't like putting tears and didn't like putting tears in my mother or my father's eyes. I tried to make sure I stayed on a path that was going to take me somewhere. Because I wanted to be somebody. I didn't say somebody important, but I needed to be somebody with some integrity and some values. Some integrity and some values. Because the only thing any of you guys got right now that's of any importance and of any value is your word. That's all you got right now. If your word ain't worth nothing, then nobody's going to believe in you. I guarantee you that. If you tell a man you're going to be on the job Monday morning at 8 o'clock and you get there at 8:10, he already set the tone for you. This guy going to be late a lot of times. I already see that. But if you show up at 7:45, you beat him there. That says a lot about you. See, your character. How many of y'all know what character is? How many of y'all have any character? See, because character means you're going to make a decision between right and wrong, good and bad. That's what character is all about. You got a lot of that. Don't lose it. Don't lose it. So, I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Casey. Let him bring the rest of this to you.
My mind begins unraveling as I start traveling through time. I shall not fear, for my destiny lies greater than that which is here. Through tunnels of darkness grows light, but is suppressed by no movement. Motion becomes only a thought, as I'm brought for a second back to reality. But realness has no meaning, meaning still I am lost, yet found. Bound by the shackles and chains that enslave my brain, leaving me motionless, yet still standing. Demanding more from life than life demands of me. Releasing my inhibitions, allowing my soul to be free. You see, free is an idea that's been made a promise. And see, we all know what happens to promises. They break like glass. But like glass, I see through them. No, past them. For past them has no limitations. Past them lies that freedom that remains to be seen, that peace of the American dream, that peace that calls for peace, so I can be at peace. And I pray that peace be with you. Can anybody tell me what the phrase namaste means? Anybody ever heard the phrase namaste?
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Sir, what's
And it's generally used as a greeting, a very respectful greeting to say, I hope things are going well for you and that they keep going well for you.
great, great. Anybody else? The translation I heard for namaste is the God in me recognizes the God in you. And it's usually done with a little bow. It's a custom in it's an Asian custom. The namaste. The God in me recognize the God in you. See, there's greatness in everyone. There's greatness in everyone in this room. And the only thing we try to do is help you to recognize that. How many people like to have a good time? How many people like to party?
No, I ain't no problem.
Stand up for me. I'm going to demonstrate something. If you like to party, put up one hand. If you like to party, put up two hands. See that posture right there? That's the posture most people will see sometime in their lifetime. Only on the other end will be a pistol drawn on them.
Exactly, put your hands up.
So see that? Put your hands up high. How does that feel?
Awkward.
Awkward. Now, how much awkward, more awkward would it be if you were standing in front of a pistol? Scared. So, you sit down. I appreciate that. But the only thing I'm trying to show here is this is what we don't want to do. There's people being drawn on every day because they don't recognize their value. They don't recognize that there's greatness in them. And see, sometimes it's a challenge as a man. When another man challenges you, you feel like you have to do something for him. You have to do something toward that aggression. You have to prove yourself. But see what happens, people don't realize that there's a God in me, and you have to recognize that God in someone else. You have to recognize the value in both lives. What's the difference between somebody shooting another man and a cop shooting another man?
Ain't no difference.
No difference. No difference. What it comes down to is you don't realize the value. You know, on a day-to-day basis, you don't realize the value in your life. It's easy to take a life when you don't recognize the value in that life. But there's value in everyone's life. You have to recognize the God that created you, created the other person. You have to keep that in mind. You can't control their actions, you can only control your actions. And one way to assure that is to not go through life being a drifter. Anybody know what I mean when I say drifter? If you put a boat in the middle of the ocean, only thing that boat has to rely on is the storms and the winds to push it along. But usually when someone's in control of a boat, the captain of that boat, he has a destination in mind. And he puts the coordinates of that destination in, and he goes to that location. Whether it's to the Bahamas, whether it's to an island somewhere, remote island somewhere. He has a coordinate that he puts in that he's going to go to. He sets a goal to go to this island. And see, that's what we have to do in life. We have to stop being drifters. Being a drifter can get you in a lot of situations that you can't get yourself out of. One of the situations is hands held high. Hands held high. I remember one day, just riding through the neighborhood, wrong place at the wrong time. It was about three or four of my buddies. They pulled us all out the car. We had to all put our hands behind our back and get on our knees while they had the dogs about that close to us. And to come to find out, they weren't even looking for us. We just fit the description. Come to find out, it wasn't even the same color car, the same kind of vehicle. Come to find out, they didn't value our lives and had their way with us, basically. That's what I want to prevent going forward. There's too many young people killing young people because they become drifters through life. So you got to set definite goals. You got to know where you want to go, and you're the only person that can get there. You're the captain of your ship. Captain, my captain. You're in charge of your destiny. Everybody in this room is in charge of their own destiny. You can want to blame someone else for what you become, but you blame it in vain. The only person you can blame is the person in the mirror, because you got to know where you want to go. When that alarm clock goes off in the morning, you got to have a purpose. You got to know what that purpose is. You can't just get up and drift through life expecting something to happen. You got to make things happen. You have to make things happen. There's a guy named George Bernard Shaw. He said the people who get on in this world are the people who wake up and they look for the circumstances that they want. And if they can't find them, they make them. Everybody is a self-made man, but it's only the successful people that's going to admit it. It's only the successful people that's going to admit it. So if you want to be successful, the very first thing you have to know is you have to know your purpose. What's your reason for waking up every morning? Is it just to finish Job Corps? After Job Corps, then what? Is it just to make your parents happy? After you made them happy, then what? Setting goals is a continuous process. Success is a continuous process. It's not a destination, it's a journey. Remember that. Success is never a journey. There's never a destination, it's always a journey. It's how do you get from point A to point B. And then when you get to point B, how do you get from point B to point C? It's always continually moving forward, always setting that new goal. And see, every time you set a goal and you accomplish that goal, it gives you just a little bit of confidence to accomplish the next goal. And then to accomplish the next goal. And then what happens is once you learn the process, and it's all just a process, once you learn the process and you make yourself successful, everybody has an obligation to give back, to help somebody else. And that's why me and Mr. Kitchens are here, to give back. Everybody has that obligation. There's so many young people in the world, and yeah.